Do I have breast cancer because of Mounjaro or Zepbound? Ooh. Hi friends, I'm Elizabeth. I'm Countess of Shopping. I'm going to try to make it through this video without crying. I want to put on my big girl pants and share the facts. I've got a lot of scientific data to talk about and also my own personal journey in today's video. If you're new to this channel, I have been on Mounjaro and Zepbound because of those shortages for the last year and a half, and I've lost over 92 pounds and on a 100-pound weight loss journey. And I'm going to share my story briefly and then talk about the facts and the good news actually about GLP-1 medications. I have been saying in the last few months that I needed to get a mammogram and to ask viewers, and if you were one of those viewers, to help remind me, go get my mammogram. Um, if you were one of those viewers, thank you very much. I really appreciate it because people kept needling me about getting my mammogram. I actually did. And in our family, we have breast cancer. And so I knew I needed to get one. It's just hard here in Virginia. I thought that the laws had changed or with the rules or whatever, that you could just go get a mammogram. But where I went, they're like, you need to have a doctor send over an order to go get a mammogram test. And taking Mounjaro and Zepbound the last year and a half, my life has totally changed as a result of taking GLP-1 medication to take better care of myself and to do adult things like get mammograms and do physical checks and things like that. And so I knew I needed to do this. Life has been busy. We had another family member who had colon cancer and just a lot's been going on and we've been traveling a ton. And so I finally got my mammogram last week. And this morning I got an email. It's Monday. And it was first thing Monday morning, like 7 a.m. when my doctor's office opened. And I thought, gosh, that's crazy. I just had my mammogram. They had said it was going to be, I think it was like a week. It was a while, maybe 5 to 7 days, business days, to get the results back. And I thought it was weird that I got it back this morning. So I opened up my email and um, there is a problem. I'm getting more information. I'm going to have the next step to get more information to see what this lump, more about it. But I do have a history in my family of breast cancer. But also I do have a history of a lot of my family members having false positives. And I was reading that in mammograms, there's 10% that can be wrongly screened, but my brain automatically goes to, I have breast cancer. And I don't know if I do. I know that there is something going on that I need to get double checked and have additional screening going on. So I want to say first and foremost, and then I'm going to get into the stats and figures about relating this to GLP-1 medication and how does breast cancer and cancer in general relate to GLP-1 medications, because there's some really good news actually about GLP-1 medications, but I wanted to share what's going on with me so you guys know. And in my free encouragement group, if I am slower to post things, this is what's going on behind the scenes. I'd rather be completely honest. I've been so honest, I feel like the last year and a half, that holding something else back without giving the full story related to health is not helpful. And hopefully my intention in sharing this is that it will help someone else get their mammogram, because prevention, and for gentlemen, any gentleman watching, I know we've got a lot of counts out there too in the Countess of Shopping community to get your own preventative screenings as well. And preventative screenings save lives. It's true. Or if there is an issue, it can make it dramatically better by getting the screening done early for treatment. And so that's my whole intention of making this video, is if you are of age to get a colonoscopy or for mammograms or physicals, to go do that, because earlier screenings and earlier catching things can make health so much easier and so much better. I will keep you guys posted as I walk through this. I just wanted to say a heartfelt thank you to anybody who had commented, Elizabeth, did you get your mammogram? Elizabeth, did you get your mammogram? You need to go get your mammogram. So thank you to anybody who said that, because that preventative screening very well may save my life, or severe treatment, or there's something going on that needs additional testing. And so thank you, because getting this early, it is early for me, I'm guessing, based upon the size, that it could be a lot bigger, and it's not. So I will keep you guys posted, but let's go into how correlation with cancers relate with GLP-1 medication, because I want to focus in on you. And I also don't want petty, or I'm sharing this with the intention of, because you guys know here at the Countess of Shopping community, our intention is uplifting, positive community. And I want to uplift you to get your checks if you haven't done so, to call your doctor's office to make those preventative treatment appointments, and also to encourage you to keep going on this weight loss journey. And we're going to loop back to that in a minute, but I'm going to link my sources down below. As always, I do link my sources. And there was a new, it was July 5th, 2024. So this is a little bit older, and I've talked about it before, but I think it's really important. I was actually looking back at this data to remind new folks here too, is the Journal of American Medical Association found evidence that the use of semaglutide medications, so just to clarify if people don't know, semaglutide is the active ingredient in WEGOVY and Ozempic. The active ingredient in TIRZEPATIDE, the active ingredient in Mounjaro and Zepbound is TIRZEPATIDE. So, but they're both GLP-1 medications, right? TIRZEPATIDE, which is Zepbound and Mounjaro, which is what I've specifically been on, has 2 hormone receptors, whereas semaglutide has 1. So TIRZEPATIDE, meaning Zepbound and Mounjaro, slightly higher in terms of data and data for weight loss and things like that. So I lump them together. This study does not. It's saying semaglutide in there from the American Medical Association, but we know that the data is higher. I don't want to say better, but it's higher in terms of weight loss dropped with TIRZEPATIDE. So thus I'm looping it in. This study from the American Medical Association did not, just to be clear on that. That it found the evidence the use of semaglutide medications like Ozempic and Wegovy may help reduce the risk of obesity-associated cancers with people of type 2 diabetes. In the study, researchers studied 13 cancers linked to obesity. Now, this also says that more information needs to be done. We need to do more studies on this. This is just the very beginning of like scraping this information of it. But these cancers, it said less risk of developing 10 of these obesity-associated cancers, right? And as people take these medications, Ozempic, Wegovy, I'm going to lump in Mounjaro and Zepbound and TIRZEPATIDE in there. Of course, it would make sense if people are less obese. Like I was morbidly obese, then obese, and then now I'm just overweight, air quote, although I don't think I'm overweight, but just overweight. So it would make sense that if you're reducing from being morbidly obese to obese and going down and not being obese anymore, that thus there would be a less reduction of cancers, which does that not save a ton of people a ton of heartache? Yeah. So their cancer, gallbladder, kidney, liver, ovarian, pancreatic, and then a couple of these I'm going to butcher and mispronounce, which is why I'm also going to link the study down in the description link below. Just click the ... more button, and then you can see, because I do always like to cite my sources. Esophageal, colorectal, endometrial, minigloma, and multiple myeloma. And again, I'm not a healthcare provider. Always talk to your own healthcare provider. I'm not a medical person, but this is so exciting because they did a study that pulled from medication data of 1,651,452 patients across 13 years, compared those with type 2 diabetes who had been prescribed a GLP-1 medication, insulin, or metformin. And then it goes on that they were testing these. They noticeably saw the most significant decrease in gastrointestinal cancers, all the way down from your esophagus, all the way down to your colon. It's interesting, and so there's someone, it's Lindsay Wang, the center of the sentence. She works at Case Western Reverse Universe. Holy gazolies, holy crap, that's a long title. She works in Cleveland. Her name's Lindsay Wang. Was saying that this is pretty interesting because of something that did surprise me, and we found no association between using GLP-1 RAs, receptor agonists, and breast cancer risk, which is contrary to our initial expectations. So that was one of the things I was looking for, was breast cancer linkage with GLP-1 medication. And there wasn't within this, which is why more studies need to be done, because maybe it does. But it would make sense going from your esophagus all the way down to your colon, that if you're improving health because you're eating more nutrient-dense foods, I know I am, tell me in the comments, are you? By eating more nutrient-dense food, that thus the body's getting better taken care of, that the less likelihood of cancer. Now we know some cancers are just genetic, right? Like we just know that. But this is fascinating. It's just the tip of the iceberg, which we've talked about too in terms of other things like Alzheimer's testing that's going on, Parkinson's testing that's going on. We do know that there is, in the clinical trials going on, 20% reduction of heart disease, strokes, cardiovascular events from GLP-1 medications. Sleep apnea probably will very soon get approved by the FDA, which is so exciting to help with sleep apnea. A lot of great things, because a lot of bad things happen from being obese. And one of the things, as I've been walking through my own situation as of like a few hours, is thinking of how much damage I've done to my body over the last few decades. And having chronic obesity management, I felt some guilt about that. And the faith that I subscribe to, you subscribe to whatever faith you want. The faith I subscribe to talks about no guilt, no shame, no condemnation. That's not part of the faith that I believe. So having this guilt is not in alignment with my faith values, but I do have some sort of regret that I wish I had taken care of my body better. And then the flip side of that is I feel like I've done the best I could. I really have done the best I could with all of this. That I'm not like a victim or whatever. Like, I have done the best I could. I've tried as hard as I could try. And now currently it's also making me think, currently in the last year and a half, have I tried as hard as I could have tried? Would that have made maybe a difference in what's going on with my health? And I don't know. Like, I know that I've done the best I could, but it makes me feel like, now can I be trying harder? Yeah, I think so. I think that there's some areas that I can clean up a little bit better. And like, just walking through this, I am having doubts about myself that maybe, I could have been taking better care of myself even in the last year and a half. But like yesterday, for example, I walked 4 miles. I did an hour-long Pilates class with a private instructor. Like, I'm really doing the best that I can and I ate, it's kind of clean. I had some chips yesterday and they were delicious and I enjoyed them. But I feel like also that there has to be balance, and I don't want to make it like, having a few chips is okay too. But then I feel this, could I have prevented this in some, and I don't think I could have. I feel like what I could have done better was gotten my pre-screening immediately 6 months ago when I started talking about this, but life was lifing. And I don't want to make excuses on that, but I think it's a big lesson to me, and hopefully for you too. If you have to get your mammogram or a colonoscopy, or if your partner has to get one of these health screenings or a physical, to go do it. Don't delay. We had a family member have colon cancer, and they probably wouldn't have had colon cancer if they had just gotten a colonoscopy. And so these pre-screenings do work. And the exciting part about GLP-1 medication for me is that I do want to take care of myself. And that me feeling this guilt and stuff like that is also not helpful. That's not helping move the needle for me to eat better through operating through guilt. And I'm not going to. I think this is all just so new and fresh, and I wanted to talk about it because I feel like me hiding stuff like that is not helpful either. I feel like I've been honest about a lot, like so honest about a lot of my stuff, that me holding this in and just wanting to cry all day is not helpful. If you'll notice, I'm here, and I was talking about earlier, like, walking shoes are majorly on sale today. On my last video I was talking about, and it felt good to like talk about stuff like that. That is not necessarily anything of substance, but it's just kind of fun to talk about, knowing that I have like such heavy stuff going on. It's going to be okay though. It's heavy, but it's also not. Like, it's going to be okay. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to take it one step at a time. But I wasn't really expecting this, but I kind of should have, because in lieu of my family's medical history, that like this is par for the course for people in my family, and also par for the course too that other people get a lot of, false positives on these, where it seems like it's something, that there is something, but it turns out just to be benign, right? Is that the right word? Benign, where it's not any cancer. But there's definitely something there, and that is scary to think about, and also scary to think about. Well, I'm not going to go down that path either, because I don't feel like that's helpful. What I can control, and I always talk about this, things I can control and things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. The things I can control today are taking my GLP-1 medication, because today is shot day. I'm going to take my shot today. I'm going to walk today. And I'm also going to eat clean today. and I'm gonna go lay down for a little bit. I don't feel well today. I don't feel like pushing it. I have a lot of work stuff to do, and today was supposed to be like my push it day for work, but I don't feel like it. And I know once I take my injection, my GLP-1 medication for Zepbound, I do usually get tired. So I'm gonna allow myself just to chill. And if I get behind in work, I'm gonna figure it out. But I wanted to share my story and also wanted to share about these studies because I think that this is really helpful. Up to 65%, I'm going to go back over to the article, 65% reduced risk of gallbladder cancer, 63% reduce of, I'm going to butcher this, meningioma, but 59% reduction in pancreatic cancer. And pancreatic cancer is gnarly. Like that is a gnarly, gnarly cancer. And so 59%, this is the research team found people with type 2 diabetes on GLP-1 medication drugs. Compared to those on insulin who had a reduced risk of multiple cancers. 48% reduction in ovarian cancer, 53% reduced risk of having a type of liver cancer called hepatocellular carcinoma, 46% reduction in colorectal cancer. Like that is a gnarly disease. And to have a 46% reduction, 40% reduction in esophageal cancer, like 24% reduction in kidney cancer. Those are big numbers. Those are big, big numbers. Those are big numbers. And so I'm excited to see articles like these of linking the cancer linkage. I do think that it's interesting that they talked about breast cancer in there too, about how that's not banking, but I'm curious, like with more data. Like more data, we just don't know because this is just so new. So the takeaway is the new research has found evidence that the use of semaglutide medications like Ozempic may reduce the risk of obesity-associated cancers with people with type 2 diabetes. So people taking GLP-1 medications that I have FDA approval for is Ozempic and Mounjaro, by the way. People also get their panties in a wad of, those are just for type 2 diabetics. Well, they have been prescribed off-label. Now that there is the FDA approval for Zepbound, which is for chronic obesity management, and for WEGOVY for chronic obesity management, that would help alleviate off. But Ozempic and WEGOVY are the same thing, just different FDA approvals, and Mounjaro and Zepbound are the same thing, just different FDA approvals. So that's great news, by the way. Like that gives me so much hope for the future. And I was talking with a friend who is trying to get her health insurance she was talking to me about GLP-1 medications. I'm like, you need to just join Fridays. That's my healthcare provider. You can use the discount code QUEEN because they have a huge PA department, prior authorization, to work with health insurance companies who typically, like mine, for example, I'm in the process of this, that say no usually, like it's a no for me to get Zepbound through my health insurance, which is why I self-pay on it. But Join Fridays has a PA department that will do all the paperwork and push the paperwork to see if it can get covered. Like that's amazing. That to me is amazing. Just not having to do the paperwork with a PA, that is a lot of work. And many people in my free encouragement group have talked about how they've done the legwork to get the PAs, the prior authorizations. It's a ton of work. And healthcare companies do not make it easier. In fact, it looks like it's becoming harder and harder and harder with more people being on GLP-1 medication. So one of the many reasons why I love Join Fridays. And also tonight they have their dietitian coaching call, which I plan to be on. I plan to be sitting in my bed with my screen, like just sitting there listening. But it's a dietitian call. I paid hundreds of dollars for dietitian group coaching calls. And so now that's included in my membership. That alone, 2 a week, that's 8 in a month that I feasibly could go on as part of my membership. Like 8 a month included if I was on every single call in a month. For my $99 membership, and you can use the discount code QUEEN to save 25% off of your first month, but $99 divided by that, that's, what is that? Approximately, like, what is that with my math skills? $12.50 per call, not even including getting a prescription potentially if you are, for GLP-1 medication, if you are eligible. Because they do, of course, have a medical screening and talking with a healthcare provider. But it's exciting times in the GLP-1 community. And it's exciting times for me too. I will continue to keep you posted. If I don't mention something in an upcoming video, it means I just don't have further information. As soon as I have further information, of course, I will share it with the Countess of Shopping community. I love you guys so super much. And people who commented about me getting a mammogram, thank you. Literally, it was, when I made the appointment, it was because two people in one day were like, Elizabeth, did you get your mammogram? And what a blessing I have to have this community of amazing, beautiful, loving people to help encourage me too. So if you were one of those people, like, you helped me to get this early screening, because like it's there's something going on, but it's early. It's early. And that's the great news, that I feel comfort in, is that this is very early, relatively speaking. And I need to get tissues in here. Another amazing viewer was like, Elizabeth, you have all this stuff in here. Why don't you have tissues? And I'm like, why don't I have tissues? So I will be getting a tissue box. I may bedazzle it and put it in here. But I appreciate you guys a lot. Like, literally, people following up with me to get a mammogram. Like, thank you. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, and my family too, because my family knows. My husband was like, did you get your mammogram? He's like, people are needling you and I'm needling you. And so having it come from multiple people to be like, did you make that appointment? Really is helping me. So thank you. I'm gonna go lay down now. Today's been a crazy day. I feel like I have so much else to say, but I also don't really have anything to say. So if you're new here, I do have hundreds of other videos that you can go binge watch, and I'm going to continue to be making videos regardless what happens. I do have the commitment that I release videos every single day here on YouTube, and I have for a long time, hundreds and hundreds of videos over the last year and a half of my journey, and that's not going to stop regardless of what's happening to me medically. Like, that will not stop. I am committed, and I am here, and I will continue to be here sharing my GLP-1 medication journey, and I will continue to be here as I talk about my 100-pound weight loss when I hit it. So I love you guys a lot. You guys mean a lot to me, and thanks for being here for me, truly. Like, I get so many amazing, beautiful messages. I also get a lot of mean ones, because some people don't understand. They just don't get GLP-1 medications. And if you have had that too, by the way, just know that people just don't understand, and more information's coming out that eventually in the future people will, you know? Like, people will. So, and if they don't, who cares also? Like, that's not your problem. Like, your problem is focusing on your health, not your problem, but you know what I mean? Like, your things I can change, things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. The things that I can change are within myself, and my health, and working, like, choosing what foods I eat, and choosing to go out the door to move and do weight training or walking or whatever. So, okay, I'm gonna stop babbling because I feel like I'm rambling on. I love you guys so much. And my eyelashes are falling off. Woo! Okay, I love you guys so super much. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. And go to countessofshopping.com because I will be doing, so I'm not gonna be on camera later today. I'm gonna be doing a bunch over on the website too. So love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.